A study in the Canadian Medical Association Journal found more than half of adults in Ontario who got a new prescription for ADHD were female, the median age 31. The authors say the trend is influenced by greater awareness of adult ADHD, and it raises questions about overdiagnosing and long-term effects. Joining me now to discuss is pharmacist and drug policy researcher at the University of Toronto, Mina. Tadrous, thank you so much for being with us. So this study raises a few red flags about the number of medications that are being handed out, and it also looks at the surge of women who are going to doctors seeking ADHD medication. Your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for drawing attention to our work. Yeah, basically we started exploring what happened since the pandemic. There's been a number of studies globally. We've been monitoring the drug supply since the pandemic, and we saw this really strange kind of sharp increase. And what we found is since 2020, in a very brief, so 4 years, a doubling in the rate of people in the province of Ontario getting stimulants. So these are drugs like Adderall, Ritalin, Vyvanse, drugs that people have heard about. And then, it's slowly been going up over time as greater awareness and people are talking about potentially living with ADHD. But this sharp of an increase was concerning for us. We think it's both a good news and a bad news story as we think about what's happening in this place. As we eliminate stigma, more patients want to get access to this. But at the same time, we're wondering if it's appropriate for everybody.
And so what do you need to say to your doctor? What tests do you have to go through and able to secure a medication?
So usually when you speak to your doctor, there's an assessment that occurs based on certain symptoms. Now, the thing that's important to recognize is in the guidelines, you don't get the prescription the first day that you go in and you get that assessment. It's supposed to be repeated. You're supposed to rule out other mental health indications, make sure it's appropriate. There also is physical assessments. Stimulants carry risk for cardiovascular effects that they have on the heart because of the way that they raise blood pressure. And so there's a whole bunch of things that have to occur, and you don't often get it the same day that you walk in. And so I think it's important to recognize that there is like an assessment process that occurs for people to get the diagnosis for ADHD.
I've got about 30 seconds left. I want to ask you, when talking about this in the newsroom, a lot of women said, yeah, I've wondered if I have it because I look at my phone, have the TV on and the computer. Do I have ADHD? Is social media behind this?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of evidence. We weren't able to assess that in our study, but a lot of evidence that, our attention spans are getting shorter. There's a big push in social media for people to go get assessed. And a lot of different conversations are happening online. We're in front of our computers all the time, and we're constantly having our attention span being cut shorter. That doesn't mean you have ADHD, right? And I think that that's an important conversation that people need to be having with their healthcare providers before they start a medication.
Such an important study. So glad you did it. Mina Tadrous is with the University of Toronto.